We all know the Disney Renaissance, right? Those 4 films that are held up as untouchable gods gift to animation from the 90s that were surrounded by 6 other pretty good films, besides Pocahontas. We all tend to gush about those, shit on the early 2000s for the direct-to-video sequels, even though most of those are pretty alright if we're not being joyless assholes about it. And then there's the last decade of Disney, something that most of us grew up with seeing in theaters, and they never really get talked about outside of initial reviews. I want to look at them and rank them from worst to best. My only rule is they have to be animated. I like the live-action remakes, but I don't really care about them. Besides The Jungle Book, that one just wins the race hands down. Well, if you discount the 2 Maleficent movies. These things are hot garbage, but they're my hot garbage. Pixar gets thrown in here as well. So without further ado, here's the last decade of Disney animated movies, ranked worst to best.
Garbage. Garbage. Garbage.
Look, I'm gonna be honest here, guys. I haven't bothered to watch these 2. The plot synopsis and the few clips I saw on YouTube were enough to tell me no. They're not bad, I'm just sick of the guy with big dream is hindered by fear of the thing that is directly tied to said dream. I mean, the message isn't bad or anything, but I'm sick of it. It'd be like if Lightning was afraid of going over 30 miles an hour despite the fact he's a fucking race car. The sequel I forgot was the thing till I googled it. Yeah, no, these were just the worst by default, by virtue of the fact I couldn't be bothered to watch them.
Now this will make me rich.
Yep, show of hands, who's surprised? Now if you're 5, put your hands down. There we go. Cars 2 has been beaten to death with a lot of very large sticks, so I'll just cut to the chase. Every single plot progressing action is done by accident. Somehow or another, Mater is able to get himself out of Dodge just by saying the vaguest shit, and the super intelligent secret spy agents can't just say a direct sentence to him. I'm not even sure what the message was supposed to be here. Communication is important, don't underestimate yourself, try hard enough you'll succeed, Lightning is a dick, I don't know. The one saving grace this film has is that I genuinely think it's Pocahontas levels of funny, how no one seems to get the fact that this idiot is in fact an idiot.
I didn't finish school and look at me. Who wouldn't envy where I am right now?
I hate this movie. Like, I legitimately just hate this movie. It's so fucking lazy. Much like Cars 2, it has so many things that are just too coincidental to keep happening. First, Dory remembers stuff, then she's swept away, then crushes coincidentally on his migration again. Then Dory magically remembers where she grew up and somehow gets in the damn facility and meets an octopus who wants to be in captivity and needs something that she has to do it. And don't even get me started on the convenient water in this fucking movie. Not to mention the fact that it's all fresh chlorined water and not seawater, and I'm going to break a motherfucking television! Fuck, I hate this movie. I honestly can't piece together a lesson or even a thought to go with it other than maybe don't underestimate disabled people, which the first film did better with this same character. The few things this movie has going for it are Ellen DeGeneres being genuinely funny, Destiny, and the seals. Also, fuck her parents for just putting shells out rather than going to look for her. I may not like Finding Nemo that much, but at the least, it was a believable chain of events that occurred organically from our main character. This movie is bad, and you should feel bad for giving it so much money.
I respect your cunning, but I also hate you for it.
This one I hate for different reasons. I honestly like the ending. I think it's sweet and everyone gets what they want. Yes, it's bittersweet that Annie leaves everyone, but I think we needed that so that everyone, audience included, could move on. That's good, that's fine, but it's the end of Act 1 till they get out of the raging inferno that I can't stand. The whole time they're in the daycare is painfully unfun and just not what I'm here for. Say what you will about 1, 2, and 4, but the parts where Woody's apart from the gang is supposed to be the fun part of the journey. It's too puke green for my taste, and the fact you made the villain a pink strawberry scented teddy bear doesn't make the twist any less obvious, guys. I mean, come on. Again, a moral is hard to pinpoint here because the first 3 Toy Stories all have the same one, being loved by a child and wanting to stay where things are comfortable, and how those conflict with each other is interesting, and how they tackle it is different every time, but still, man, come on. Also, why are they in an inferno? Seriously, what grimdark, ooh, so edgy pit did you pull that out of and then shove up your own ass? Because this is just painful. Here's a tip, if you're gonna have a death fake out, at least kill the villain so the stakes mean something, because this is not tense. It's just needless bullshit.
Now let's never speak of this again.
So, college movies aren't fun for me. Being a college student myself, I don't really get the appeal of it being a raging party, bro, kind of thing, because it's just stress filled with booze so you can get through the day for most people. For me, it's stress and a can of Pepsi, but I digress. Honestly, this movie's fine. I'm glad it shows that you don't need a college degree to get a job, but the fact that they worked up from a mailroom to the scare floor is kind of scary to me. and not in the good way. I mean, it's true, but at the same time, it's kind of weird they went from ground floor to dream job in a matter of years. Yes, I know this goes against the first movie implying they've been boyfriends since 4th grade, but really, I don't care, it's a throwaway line. Hell, the movie didn't say this was the first time they met. They could have known each other in 4th grade, forgotten by the time college came around, and then remembered later after becoming friends. Either way, who cares? My real big issue is that it's just boring. Like, it'll keep your kid entertained and all, but for someone who's living this shit in his day-to-day life, it's just boring.
A, you. B, I'm bored. C, I feel like pickpocketing some dork while they browse.
Brave is fine? Solid 5 out of 10. We're getting to the point in this list where these aren't bad, but they're not good either. Funny enough, I like the lore of this movie more than I like its characters, which is why I don't really like this movie, and wish it had another rewrite or two, and coincidentally why I think it needs to be in Kingdom Hearts, so that it can get that bare bones redressing so that only the important bits are talked about. I mean, I like Merida to a point. I think the triplets are cute, the wisps are adorable looking, Angus is basically just a pupper with big step-on-me-daddy hooves, and I love the crafty carver, but that's about it. Oh, also, the theme of taking new ideas and incorporating them with old ones and not being so stubborn with your family is really good, and honestly something that I wish was taught more often. The plot, however, is about the same level of complicated as The Princess and the Frog, but that only comes down to the fact that the carver only gives like 1/10 of the explanation to fix the problem when she's the one who fucking caused the problem by preying on a 16-year-old girl's wants to not be married. I'm getting Little Mermaid flashbacks. But switch out the word marriage with beaten by her father. Anyway, this movie's fine, but I'd be lying if I ever said I wanted to watch it again.
All right, your adorable banter is literally making me sick. Let's go home already.
It's better than Cars 2. That's about it. It's rather forgettable. It's beautiful to look at and surprisingly funny on occasion, but really that just sums up the movie for me. It's better than Cars 2. Moral of knowing when to step down and giving your place to the next generation is good though. I'll give it that. It's fine. It's good. 6 out of 10.
If you mess up the house, I will never trust you again. No pressure! Bye!
An alternative title for this movie could have been The Bambi King, because this is literally all you fucking care about. I like the second and third acts best because the whole point is a dino boy adopting a little kid pupper, and it's great. Solid A material since it's so cute. But what drags it down is everything else. The dad death, the complete tonal whiplash of the climax, the way Arlo is just an annoying little shit the first act, and how his brothers, despite them being triplets, treat him like he's 10 and they're 15. My only gripe is, why didn't he just take Spot and his family back to the farm? Give them some food, have them kill critters, and call it a happy life. That would have been a way better ending. Now everyone has a home. That family's good. Just putting that out there. I like the idea of having a kid learn how to be an adult, mostly through working on a farm, and then applying what he learned in raising Spot. That was neat. I do have to say that the fucking goodbye scene got me a little. Like, I just couldn't stop crying because he just lost his papa, and we had to see him get a new friend, and become the papa, and now he has to say goodbye. Fuck, this movie hurts.
Not a single one of those dumb kids have gotten hurt yet.
Dumb kids? Wait. Those are my dumb kids!
This movie has exactly 3 good characters: Marshmallow Man, Science Rapunzel, and Big Lesbian Energy condensed into a single person. I hate the villain, I hate the conflict, I think Tadashi is an overhyped, overloved, overinflated Christ metaphor, and I fucking want him to Oh wait, the fact the movie has the main character be so gung-ho to stop his brother's killer like he's Spider-Man is a good concept, but he then drags his friends and brother's healthcare robot into this and puts them in danger so he can grieve, and damn it, I want to send this stupid little bitch through a wood chipper. The moral of leaning on your friends and knowing when you need help is important, and the fact this is a really good way to make the grieving process interesting to kids bumps this up quite a bit in quality. While I hate this movie, I do like most of its characters, shout out to Aunt Cass, and find it at least funny, so it gets a better slot than the prior ones because of its moral.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bake that bird in a pie.
I'm gonna bake that kid into a pie.
I also hate this movie, and it has nothing to do with the characters. It's just how blunt the message is, which I appreciate for the racist fucksticks in the world who have proven they need this kind of lesson beaten into their head. For me though, I was raised to never see people for race, to the point when I saw The Greatest Showman and Zac Efron's parents were pissing he was dating Zendaya, I legit didn't get why, because they didn't know she was a circus performer yet. And then someone explained that it was a race thing and I felt like I was 5. Anyway, this just feels unnecessary for me, but it's not made for me. It's made for the idiots who don't get the concept of don't be racist, and the kids who might be raised in that environment who see this and will go, why are they treating each other wrong? They're all animals. Which is the point. I do like our leads. They're funny, expressive, and overall just a good comedic duo who has a believable friendship by the end of it all. So, yay for that. Alright, we're coming up to the top 10, which means I actually have very little bad to say about these movies. My number 1 should be no surprise to any of you who know me at all, but still, here's the best of the best.
There is one way, but it's terribly dangerous and partially illegal. So you're in the right place.
This movie's cute and you're all wrong. Yes, Ralph is a bit too clingy, but that's how people are. If you had no friends for 30 years and then your first and best friend wants to leave you behind like everyone else did, you'd be kinda pissy too. With that said, it's also good that the movie made him realize he's wrong and go to fix the problem. This movie is just there. It's nice, it's fun, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's just a good time. The BuzzTube stuff is kinda cathartic for me since it feels like everyone and their mom gets famous overnight, while I'm stuck here getting a slow following, which I prefer since that means you guys actually like me rather than the clickbaity stuff that people do just to get follows. I see so many people do random stuff to get subs, and I'd rather make shit I care about that you guys want to see rather than, oh hey, here's a challenge I can give a fuck less about, subscribe. Oh, and the princesses were legitimately funny, but I'm mad the trailer kind of showed everything that scene had to offer, and this song is just pure cheese and I love it for that. For fuck's sake, the dollar store is called literally a dollar store. It's a pun! Please get the sticks out of your asses. Also, yes, having like 500 different costume changes is life for me. Please give her more, I love it.
And where's Gus? What did you do with Gus?
The kid's fine. He's just dead to us.
Coco is an interesting movie. I've seen this thing 4 times and I think it's beautiful, but I wish it was better. I don't cry at this movie, ever. And that comes down to the fact that I don't know or like my grandparents, so the ending of this movie just didn't hit me the way it should. Plus, Remember Me is played way too much, and it's super annoying after a while. But I have a whole video of that subject floating around, I'll get to it later. I like the characters, I like the message of don't stifle your family while also not being a dick to the family who has some sort of a reason to not like what you're doing. Just talk it out basically, and I love that idea. It's a solid 7 out of 10 if I'm being harsh. If I'm being fair, it's an 8. More morals like this, please. Communication's important, people. Speaking of which,
Luz, you always go overboard and I end up bailing you out.
this movie has so much baggage with it. Yes, it's overplayed, yes, it's annoying, yes, I want to punch Elsa in her face. Mainly, what I don't like about this movie is the marketing. And it's not the toys, or the dresses, or the overplaying of this fucking song. No, it's this face. This one face pisses me off because this is a manufactured pose that has fuck all to do with Elsa's character. This is the smirk she gives at the end of Let It Go that shows confidence, but this confidence ends the next time we see her, and damn it all, I fucking hate it. Like, the poster and the cover shows her in the forefront and everyone else who has more screen time than her in the background, and I want it to burn. Alright, now that that's done, I like everything else. Well, besides Hans, but that's because he's about as interesting as Variant from the Tangled series. I like Kristoff, I like Olaf, I like the in-jokes and the meta shit, but I love Anna. I think she's one of the cutest things Disney has made in the last decade. She has the same appeal as Ariel and Rapunzel. She has this one girl and she just bum rushes towards it at any cost, but also gets excited at new things and is just naive, and I love it. Best song in the film is probably For the First Time in Forever, or even In Summer, because they add something that is unique to the film that isn't Elsa's power move. Also, this movie is just pretty. Nothing more I can say, I just like winter, and I think it's got a lot of potential for color. However, this movie has a bitter taste in my mouth because of Kingdom Hearts 3, and the simple fact they made Nomura retell the movie frame by frame, and God, I hate it. Like, you could have done so much more with that, but I already have a rant on that, so we're just gonna move on.
Now, what's the fun in watching a kid get eaten by a monster if it's my kid?
This movie is said to be too cliche for Disney, and to not live up to the original, and to a point I can agree with that, but this is more superpowered Babu being super cute and just wanted to use your mama as a plot point. So clearly you're full of shit. Honestly, I can't say much about this. I like the screen flavor, I like Elastigirl getting the A plot that turned into the B plot about halfway through, and I like Bob having to be a dad for once and just failing upward. It's almost like what really happens when parents first switch roles. Ain't that some shit? The kids aren't used to this, and the Babu certainly isn't gonna be happy with it, especially a superpowered Babu that can shoot lasers out of his eyes. And I don't know why, but the raccoon fight may just be one of my favorite things ever. Maybe it's because it comes completely the fuck out of nowhere, maybe because it makes no sense, maybe because how effortlessly this fucking 10-month-old kicks this thing's ass while also just playing. I don't know. This was an awesome ride, and I wanted 50 more just like it.
Lady, I just want my body back!
You can have it. Your life is pretty terrible. But hey, it'll probably be over soon.
Did this movie need to exist? No. Were Buzz dumb and Jesse sidelined for Forky and Woody shenanigans? Yes. However, I just find this movie fun. It's a series finale that ends in a much more satisfying way than 3 did, and I liked 3's ending. What I mean is that the movie overall was just more fun to see, and it's just a good romance. And you all know I love me a good romance. I love the lesson about having to find your place, even if that means leaving your friends, if that means everyone involved will be happier for it. My only complaint is that Key and Peele are in this, and at this point in time, I'm just over them. They're funny and all, but for a good minute, it felt like they were in every fucking thing under the sun. Gabby's fun. It's good. It's fine. Solid A-.
It sparkles and shimmers, it shines and delights. I must have it for my nest.
I like Moana for the same reason I like The Emperor's New Groove. It's a buddy comedy, and that's about it. Once we set out to get the heart, we're treated to just a string of incompetence after incompetence, and it just gets funnier as the film goes on. The theme of trying new things and going beyond the reef is really good to learn, since staying stagnant is not good for anyone. The soundtrack is also really good. My top pick for this would be I Am Moana, because it puts her love for people and her inner conflict about what's happening and what must be done at the forefront. And Spirit Grandma tells her right beforehand that she can do whatever she feels is right, and she'll still support her, is just the good fucking food. And I love that moment. See, Coco, this is how you do grandparent moments. Show them doing stuff with them before the climax so that shit matters when they show up.
All right, did everybody learn a valuable lesson about experiencing each other's hardships?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut off the chase here. This movie is great because the message about having your emotions and dealing with them is really well done. Yeah, Joy is kind of a dick, but that's the point. She thinks she's right and knows what's best, and that's kind of the point. She has to realize she's wrong and let sadness be in control. I find a lesson in dealing with your emotions and being open to your parents, and for parents to not ask their kids to put on a brave face for their sake is so nuanced and is so well handled that it's only hindered by the plot having to dance around for half its runtime due to it being a feature-length movie. I feel like if this was the pilot of a TV series and had to cut like 30 minutes off, it would have been a bit stronger, but that's just speculation on my part. As it stands, it's still great. My only real gripe was that Riley wasn't punished for buying an overnight Greyhound bus ticket with her mom's credit card, or skipping school, or any of that. I get why, they know why she did it, but make her pay someone's house or get a paper route to pay you back or something. Like, punishment should happen. Other than that, I like the movie as is. Hell, I wanted to be in Kingdom Hearts at some point, it's so cool. And you could totally bring back the Dream Eaters and make those a really cool concept. Just make this level, you cowards.
The only thing that can slow me down is my curse, and that hasn't bothered me for weeks. Uh-oh.
This movie is good and funny and wholesome and a fun adventure. I'm of the mindset that Arendelle shouldn't have been punished because the citizens didn't do anything. The king did it all on his own. The 3 guards had no idea what even happened, and everyone thought the dam was a good thing and not an act of war. Olaf going through the mental problems of hitting not childhood is funny, and I relate in a way as I was going through an existential crisis shortly before this movie came out, so I felt for him. Anna losing her sister and wanting to keep her around, I also get because my sister moved out with her fiance in April of last year, and Kristoff fumbling over trying to propose to his girlfriend, I also get because I can't hit on a guy to save my fucking life. The music is leagues better than the first one because it's not trying to win any awards. They're just good musical numbers and I love it. Also, Anna crying over the loss of her sister and her lesbian snow child is just so sad. That moment when he died and when it's shown that it's their mother who's been singing to Elsa the whole movie fucking destroyed me. I lost it. It was so good. It's a nice adventure story with everything resolved in the end, and everything not resetting back to the status quo is nice for a sequel, and I wish more did it like this. Also, the message of change being inevitable and needing to deal with it as it comes, whether it be good or bad, is one of the single best messages for anyone I've seen my whole life because it tackles it from every angle. You all have no taste if you think this movie sucks.
I only did that because I knew you would cheat. Still cheated. Welcome down to my level.
This is another one I really want in Kingdom Hearts, but that's neither here nor there. Just assume that I think that the top 5 would be perfectly fine in the Kingdom Hearts game, and we can move on. Anyway, this movie hits me. Like, I get Ralph, I get Penelope, I just get it, man. The desire to be wanted and to pursue what you feel you were made for is just such a human moment, and fuck me if it doesn't hit. I wish the marketing hadn't put so much emphasis on the video game IPs they got for the thing, but I get it, sell what you paid for. Really, I find the candy and other puns funnier and more interesting than that. Like the Oreo joke, despite me hating the Wizard of Oz, is still one of the funniest references in the film, the best scene in the movie, and one of my top favorite scenes of all time is the cart building scene. It's so simple, but damn it, it's the good fucking food. Rao tries to build her a cart and he fucks half of it up. Then he breaks the decoration station and the cart comes out looking like a gummy bat out of Hell's Kitchen, and this is her response.
I love it! 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 Look, it's got a real engine and look at these wheels! Oh, I love it!
God, this scene. No joke, no lie, that's the reason I love this movie so much. I love the theme of just because you do bad things as a job doesn't mean you're a bad person, or even just looking scary or big or like you could kill someone with a hug, because most people look at me that way. But it pales in comparison to this scene.
Watch over King. Remember to feed Hootie. And Luz, thank you for being in my life.
This movie is just one of the things I keep coming back to for one reason or another. It has cute characters, genuinely funny dialogue, the best and most wholesome princess in Disney's lineup, her precious little reptile Babu, a man who I would literally murder someone for, a cameo from my favorite duck, dog, and twink, and a horse who acts like my dog when she hears the word treat. I love this movie. The musical numbers, the plot, the villain, oh god, the villain. Gothel is such a bitch character and it makes me hate her so much more, but in a good way. You should love to hate your villains, not just love them. Look at Ursula or Scar or Jafar. We love these villains because they ham it up and make the movie more memorable by being so cartoonishly evil. Gothel does this so well, but in a more grounded way. She constantly berates Rapunzel so that she'll stay obedient, but it's so over the top that those of us who weren't abused by our parents can understand and see what she's doing. Gothel had a lot of care put into her when she was being written, so that she could walk that tightrope of being likable and hateable. Her goals are so simple, living forever. To do that, she needs Rapunzel's hair. That's it. There's no grand evil plan, there's no take over the world plot, it's just the evil queen from Snow White taken to her logical conclusion. Also on the fun side of things, Rapunzel is the best thing ever. Here are some of the best Punzels in the movie. Mama Punzel playing with her reptile Babu, Take No Shit Punzel in the pub, Hair-braided Punzel, Clumsy Excited Punzel, and happy kissing her twink boyfriend after saving his life Punzel. Oh, and brown-haired Punzel is pretty great in the TV series, but I'm getting off topic. The one thing that cinches this movie at number one, even more so than anything I just said, is its theme. The theme is expressly told to us in the boat scene, and is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life.
What if it's not everything I dreamed it would be?
It will be.
And what if it is? What do I do then?
Well, that's the good part, I guess. You get to go find a new dream.
If that isn't a good lesson to teach the kids, or even adults, then I don't know what is, and frankly, I don't want to be right. This is a beautiful moral wrapped in a beautiful scene, all cozy in a hair burrito sprinkled with extra cute flakes, and it's the best Disney movie of not only the last decade, but of all time. And that's my list, everybody. Tell me why I should burn in hell for not agreeing with you while I sip on my hot tea for a good time. As always, my name is Chris, and why is this reindeer power ballad so good?